Hello everyone, this is Dr. John Makoff. Today I want to talk about what is a healthy diet. Now, everyone's individual, so what would be a healthy diet for one may be a not healthy diet for another. But there's also some general concepts that people can pick and choose whether they want to follow or not. I would first like to say is it's hard to talk about a healthy diet without talking about a healthy gut. If your gut's not healthy, what you're putting in your system, even if it is supposedly healthy, may not get absorbed and may not get utilized in the proper way. So if you have parasites that can affect your B vitamins, your iron, various things, fungal infections as well, every different type of infection can affect how your body absorbs. Any type of inflammation in your gut can affect how your body absorbs nutrients. So just to get that clear, so it's like if you really want to go for a healthy diet, most people should work with someone one-on-one to get their gut healthy first. Now, the other thing I would say is, well, let's go into this. I personally believe in a animal protein-based diet. Now, animal protein is different than just protein for a few reasons. So a protein is just two amino acids linked together, and that makes a protein. So your body has 13 essential amino acids it needs on a daily basis to keep everything functioning at its optimal. So if you just have a protein, you could be missing out on 11 different essential amino acids, plus some that are not essential, but you might still be deficient in, that you may just not be getting on a regular basis or building up the building blocks that need to produce that in your system. So just having protein in your diet is not usually enough unless you really plan it out, formulate it to really get all the different amino acids your body needs. And that's pretty difficult to do on a regular basis on a non-animal protein-based diet. Not saying it's impossible, but it's difficult. The other thing is there's certain amino acids in animal protein that is not very frequently in other foods. So like in red meat, there's amino acid methionine. Methionine is very essential for building blocks to help make certain nutrients or certain enzymes and certain hormones in your body, like SAMe, which is a building block for being a methyl donor that contributes to other proteins and other things in your body that as needed. There is the methionine that helps create other amino acids as it breaks down to then create different energy producing, protein building, protein repairing, different enzymes and functions in the body. So the amino acids in animal protein aren't readily sourced in other foods. And those are important for brain, mood, like for dopamine, serotonin, tissue repair, bone repair, immune system, detoxification, glutathione for your liver. There's so many things that animal protein gives on a easily, and I will say well-sourced animal protein. So grass-fed, grass-finished animal, like red meat, wild-caught fish, get you more of the natural fats in the fish, get you the natural fats and nutrients in the muscle of the animals versus grain-fed or corn-fed or hormonally fed or antibiotically fed different animals. You're getting a whole different biome delivered to yourself for that. So that being said, anybody can be sensitive to anything. So if you are having a food that you're sensitive to and causing inflammation, that's not a healthy diet for you. Personally, I am sensitive to garlic, onions, at the moment eggs, and so me having that even though they may be good for you, they're not good for me. So that's not a healthy part of my diet. Well, it could be a healthy part of someone else's diet. When I'm testing patients individually, if I find parasites, a good percentage of the time, I do find a sensitivity to beef. Now, parasites do feed off of B vitamins, iron, which are in beef. So usually after we get through and get rid of all the parasites, they're not sensitive to beef anymore. If someone is having H. pylori, there's a tendency they might be sensitive to poultry. Taking them off poultry while they're going through the H. pylori program, and then afterwards they're not as sensitive to poultry. So sometimes it depends on what toxins, what infections you have going on in your system, as well as what your toxic load in your system. Because if you have a very low toxic load, you can sometimes handle more. That also depends, on your methylation. So we all have our own genetic SNPs, our little genetic expressions that may, like the garlic, onions, and eggs is a salt SNP. And if you have that active and you have inflammation in the body, that will make you less likely to handle it. If you have a very low inflammatory load and your risk is low, it won't bother you. So methylation also comes into play of what really constitutes a healthy diet for somebody. Because I just had a patient the other day that salt was a sensitivity. So it might be different types of salts, and that I would test them individually for. But again, it's individual. So the one thing I will say is real food, and organic real food as best as possible, or regenerative farmed real food as best as possible. The more fake ingredients, the more toxins, the more your body has to work to break it down, filter, and may have a difficult time with some of the new chemicals they're all creating. And if someone's gluten-free, if what they're eating is really gluten-free, like a real natural source that's gluten-free, or is it some chemical concoction that makes it gluten-free, but it's still chemical-based, that your body doesn't recognize well. So having the most real food that your body can recognize, having, enough good filtered water, because your body needs not to only hydrate, but to detoxify and to process what you eat out of your system and absorb what you need and get rid of what you don't. And if you don't have enough water, that is not going to happen. Stress levels will affect also a healthy diet. Survival, one of the survival things is sometimes we crave water less, we crave food less. Depression, we crave sugar more. Survival, sometimes we crave food less. So getting some of that emotional health tied into the healthy eating, it comes in. So if you have any questions, comments, one more thing before I check off. Your system is supposed to be acidic. So the acid in your system is what helps break down the food and absorb the nutrients. If you're having acidic symptoms, sometimes that's not enough acid and what's left over gets pushed up. Or sometimes you have a hiatal hernia that an applied kinesiology chiropractor can easily fix with a maneuver. But alkaline water is not the fix. And it's your blood that's supposed to be alkaline, not your digestive system. So that's a fad that I'm not in support of. If you have a really healthy digestive system, it probably won't even faze you. But if you don't, making your digestive system more acid is just prolonging and allowing more bacteria, viruses, fungal infections, parasites to reside. So with that being said, if there's any other questions, please leave a comment, questions, message me, and hope everyone has a great day.